Although the world's top military powers know how to keep a secret when it comes to their weapons and new technologies, sometimes they seem to not be able to leak some information that automatically raises speculations about what they are creating, when it will be ready, and how much it will improve the power that each country's military already has. Today we're going to have a look at the top 5 secret military weapons that we think are definitely worth talking about. Are you ready to dive into the secret world? Let's go! Number 1. Hypersonic Missile. Those of us who knew about China's DF-17 Hypersonic Glide Boost missile really couldn't believe that there was a way to top that. But lo and behold, China did it again. This time they are going for another type of hypersonic weapon, and this one is much more powerful than the previous one. A team at the Institute of Mechanics under the Chinese Academy of Sciences has developed a type of scramjet that ran continuously for 600 seconds in a ground test, which broke the world record of 210 seconds that was previously held by the US X-51 aircraft. In general, hypersonic weapons are known for their high speeds and unpredictable trajectories, which render most of the current generation of air defense systems completely useless against them. A report on the subject said that a powerful scramjet, also known as supersonic combustion ramjet, is crucial for a hypersonic cruise missile to reach hypersonic speed, but developing one is highly challenging due to issues with heat-resistant materials and cooling of the engine. But the Chinese team seemed to manage to get over those problems because other countries such as Russia and the US are also creating hypersonic weapons themselves. Experts believe it was only natural for China to want to advance from their DF-17. We only have to wait and see the final result. Number 2. B-21 Stealth Bomber. Although for the time being we only have photorealistic renderings of the B-21 long-range strike bomber, we can get a pretty good idea of what this amazingly powerful aircraft is going to be like in real life. The bomber was expected to have been operational in the middle of 2020, but now it has been pushed to the end of the year. Although they have the stealth coatings and the technology, they want to make the best stealth bomber. The main risk is technical. They have to make the software and the networking systems modular and upgradable in order for them to work well in the first place. It is estimated that each one of those bombers is going to cost around $2 billion, but they will not be used for any truly meaningful military operations until after 2035. Unless, of course, there was an emergency. The plan is for 100 bombers to be made, but experts expect this number to increase. Number 3. Laser beams. Early in 2020, Israel's Ministry of Defense announced a breakthrough in its development of laser technology to intercept aerial threats, and everyone was very keen on knowing more. Apparently, Israeli government scientists and industry partners have developed a solid-state laser source capable of producing a coherent beam based on several smaller laser modules strong enough to intercept lower-tier rockets and missiles. But the real breakthrough has to do with the laser beam's power and accuracy. They can now target and stabilize the beam from a distance. Following the development, the Ministry of Defense launched 3 laser programs. The first program focuses on producing a ground-based laser, working as a supplement to Iron Dome. The second one on producing a maneuverable vehicle-mounted laser capable to protect mobile forces. And the third program, which may take longer to develop, seeks to field an airborne version that could protect larger areas. This technology has the potential to provide a more cost-effective missile defense capability because the development and production of the optics, mechanics, and laser source for a single beam might be pretty expensive, but the cost of a single laser shot is not at all. Number 4. Project Orion Battleship. Although Russia's military budget is now 5 times less than China and 10 times less than the USA, the Russians are known not to back down, especially in anything that has to do with the military. Rumors have it that Russia is building a nuclear-powered airplane and a drone submarine with a massive nuclear weapon. They might have less budget, but they have enough materials to make 20,000 nuclear bombs. And let's face it, their knowledge and advance on nuclear weapons and technology surpass both the US and China. But how will the Project Orion battleship come to life? Well, they could use 150 kiloton or smaller devices for the propulsion and weapons of a nuclear Orion battleship. They could test the propulsion nuclear bombs to generate chemical-based plasma for the nuclear battleship. And they would have to devote about 1,000 to 1,500 nuclear devices for each nuclear Orion battleship. Russia has the nuclear stockpile to make about 5 to 10 4,000-ton flying interplanetary battleships. We don't really know if this project would ever come to life, but if it does, it is sure a huge military advancement. Number 5. Next Generation Fighters. The US Air Force is preparing to completely change the acquisition strategy for the next generation of fighter jets, with a new plan that calls for the industry to design, develop, and produce a new fighter in less than 5 years. Seems like a far-fetched plan, but the reports on it are showing that it could actually be made. Under a new office, the NGAD program will adopt a rapid approach to developing small batches of fighters with multiple companies. In a study that was released in 2016 called Air Superiority 2030, the Air Force described a long-range stealthy sensor shooter called Penetrating Counter-Air, which would act as NGAD's central node, networked with sensors, drones, and other platforms. The Air Force would use prototyping to speed along key technologies in the hope of maturing them early enough for inclusion in advanced aircraft fielded in the early 2030s. But what they want to do is flip that paradigm. Instead of maturing technologies over time to create an exquisite fighter, the Air Force's goal would be to quickly build the best fighter that the industry can muster over a couple of years, integrating whatever emerging technology exists. The service would down-select, put a small number of aircraft under contract, and then restart another round of competition among fighter manufacturers, which would revise their fighter designs and explore newer leaps in technology. The point of that would be that instead of trying to hone requirements to meet an unknown threat 25 years into the future, the Air Force would rapidly churn out aircraft with new technologies. We will only have to wait and see if this works. So there you have it for today. These were the top 5 secret military weapons and strategies that we have gathered for you. Which one of them do you think is the most likely to happen? Let us know in the comments.